So I want to make sure that everybody is aware of the three fits, as I call it. So the three fits. So I'm going to share my screen, see if you can see this. All right, here we go. So we're going to talk about the three fits for PM hiring. So a lot of times when people hire, they make the mistake of hiring the wrong people. And everybody knows that this can be a challenge. It's one of the most painful transitions property management business owners or any business owner goes through is the transition from being a solopreneur to having a team. And usually people do it the wrong way. They build the wrong team around them. And I'm not going to get into all of that. I'm just going to talk about one principle that's going to help you with hiring, which is the three fits. Okay. So the three fits are basically three things that you need to focus on when hiring. Now, most of the time, people will focus on one of these three. So let's make some circles here, and we're gonna do this. And so one of the fits that people tend to focus on is skill fit. Like, let's find somebody that can do the job. Some will also maybe more important than that would be personality fit, which means they would enjoy doing the job and they would naturally be good at it. So skill fit just means they can do the job. Personality fit means they would really love doing that job. They're the right personality for it, right? A salesperson is outgoing, charismatic, and driven. A customer service person is empathetic and caring, etc. Right? So it needs to be the right personality for the role. And then the most important is culture fit. Now, there is a reason, and I know like the small business owners or those that are just now getting into hiring or they're in just transitioning from solopreneur, or maybe even those that have a small team, they usually hear things like culture fit and culture, and they think that's fluffy woo-woo bullshit, and they don't get it. I have yet to talk to somebody with 1,000 doors, though, that does not understand that this is the most important thing. And so you have a blind spot here if you cannot see that yet. So I want to help you understand this. Culture fit basically means that they share your values. It means that you can trust them. And that's why this is the most important. Personality fit means they would enjoy or love doing the job. They're naturally inclined to do it. And skill can be taught. Skill can be learned. And I'm trying to draw a light bulb here, but skill can be learned and, and can be trained and can be taught. You cannot teach culture. It's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult to try and inject values and culture into somebody. That usually comes pretty hard built in. It's hard boiled in, right? It's hardwired in. It's kind of set by their religion, their background, their parents, their upbringing, their relationships they've been in. A lot of times their values come. You can move the needle a little bit, but it's really difficult. Whereas skill, you can teach somebody to do something, and then there's personality fit. All right. So the most important is culture fit. So these are the three fits. Now, in the middle here, if you have all three of these fits, then you have the ultimate hire, right? They're the ultimate team member. If all of these three intersect. But if say they have the skill to do the job, maybe the personality to do the job, but they lack the culture, then you can't trust them. Which means you are still going to have to micromanage them. And it means you won't offload or give certain pieces of the business to them because you don't know they're going to make decisions the same way that you would make it because they don't match your values. And it doesn't mean they have bad values. Like maybe your value is that you want to do everything in a property as cheap as possible, cheapest carpet, cheapest paint. But you hire a maintenance coordinator and they want to do things as quality as possible or vice versa, right? They're just a mismatch of values. And that's a really like low level one, but they might have totally different values when it comes to integrity or efficiency or honesty or taking care of people or whatever. And every property management business owner has a different set of values with a different hierarchy and priority. And so you need to figure out what your values are. Now, if they are a really great culture fit, like you get along with them, they fit in with the team, everybody feels good being around them, they fit the values, and they're really good personality fit, then but they don't have the skill yet, they can learn. But it's going to take time, right? It's going to take time and they're going to have to be taught and trained. So they just need really good training. Now, if they're a really good skill fit, so they know, they have a resume, they've done this before, they know how to do it, and they're a good culture fit, but they're not a really good personality fit for it, they're never going to be great. They're just never going to be great at this job. They know basically how to do it. They've done it before, but they're always going to be somewhat mediocre. And they might share your values. They might do things in a way that you would like, but they're just not the right personality fit. Yeah, there's friction there constantly. Like you're trying to get somebody to do cold calling or do outreach or do sales that really deep down hates making calls and feels uncomfortable. So they just end up sending lots of emails and avoiding the follow up stuff and waiting for stuff to come in. You wonder why it's so difficult, why you're always having to push that team member even though you like them and you know they can do it, they're probably not the personality fit. And you may have team members that fit that. So we don't want team members that can never be great. These people can learn, right? That's why skill fit is the least important. And these people you can't trust, right? But in the middle here, we have our ultimate hire, right? We have our ultimate hire. So they need to be all three. So that's the three fits. If you do not yet have culture clearly defined, this should be the first major hurdle. So when we do our hiring, and we have this whole hiring system we help clients build out called DoorGrow ATS, which is an applicant tracking system. But we feed people in and we assess their personality. So we know that they are most likely a personality fit just by looking at their job application. Now, before they fill out the application, they are required to go through some hoops and hurdles and read through our company core values, our mission statement, my personal mission in life statement, like all of these things that are defined related to our culture. So they understand whether or not they would fit into this culture. Not only that, so we do the first interview, we just focus on culture fit. We look at their video they submitted, we get on a call with them and do an interview, and we are just asking about all the culture stuff that they reviewed and asking what they thought about it. If they're not glowingly, overwhelmingly enthusiastic and inspired and excited, then they're not a culture fit. Because what does that mean? Whenever I want you to understand this, when we fail to inspire, when we fail, I'm messing that S up. And when we fail to inspire, we always control because you have to. So if you have team members you feel like you have to micromanage or control or check in with or follow up with or push, they're not inspired, which means they're probably not a believer in you, which means culture fit. You need people that believe in you and believe in your vision and believe in your values and believe in the direction. But that stuff needs to be clear for everyone to see, which is why we have things in Door Grow that we teach, like client-centric mission statements, company core values, and not putting too many there because and having a business why statement, having a personal why statement. These are having a decision-making guide. These are the things that allow people to become a believer in you. Just imagine your business is like a religion or a cult, right? The root word of culture is cult right there. You need to have people that can be believers. Otherwise, if they're not believers, they're hiders. So if they're not a culture fit, if they're over here, oops, they're hiders, right? If they're not a culture fit, you can't trust them. And that means they complain about you and they live for the weekend. Typical standard American employee, right? They make jokes about it on sitcoms. They hate their job and they think their boss is an idiot, and that's you, right? And so you don't want that. Okay. So after we interview based on culture fit, if we get on an interview and say, what do you think about all this stuff? And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I would love to work for you. This is amazing. That means they want something more than just money. They're not even money driven. It's not about the pay or the job. They're like, I would love to be in this role, which means they're a personality fit. Like, this sounds like the right job description, like it matches me. And I would love to be a part of your team. This company sounds amazing. Culture, and I can do this job. I have the history to back it up. Then I'm a skill fit, right? Oops. We'll make that green like the rest. All right. So I'm also a skill fit. So that's usually our first hurdle is personality fit. We clear out the applicants that are not. We get them on our first interview for culture fit. After culture fit, and my team does all this for me. They will then bring them up to the next level, and I will interview them to go over all of the personality stuff with them to really get to know them deeply to see if they are personality fit. I'll go over Myers-Briggs, I'll go over DISC, I'll go over several other assessments. I look at human design, some others. So I will look through all of these different things that give me different lenses in which to view them. And I will throw out the stuff at them to see what's true, what sticks, and what is accurate, and make sure I see them clearly. And then the next step is we just got to test them or train them to make sure they have the skill. And so we would then do maybe a working interview where we hire them. So say we're hiring a web designer, we would bring on multiple web designers sometimes that might be a culture or personality fit. And we would test them to see which one does a good job. And we would pay them for that time. And the one that communicates well, has good English, does good design, etc., would be somebody that might stick in our business, right? All right. So hopefully you now have an idea in looking at this, why some of your existing team members are not a good fit. They might not be a good skill fit. They might not be a good culture fit, or they might not be a good personality fit. And if so, then you need to get people that are. You cannot create and force culture. So let go of that team member if they're just not a culture fit. If it's a skill fit, then you just need to train them. You probably did a poor job onboarding them if they're the right personality for it. So get their personality assessed, figure out what they're all about, figure out if what your culture is and what your values are and what you care about, and find out if do they care about those things. And then that should make things really clear for you. So I hope this is helpful for everybody. And if you are wanting some help with this, if you're wanting to really assess your team and scale your team quickly and scale your business and build the ultimate hiring system so you don't waste time with churn and like losing team members and trying to replace them and all the money and costs associated with like doing that, and you want to build up your business quickly with the ultimate dream team that believes in you and supports you and is inspired by you, and you don't have to control or micromanage them or follow up with them or tell them what to do. They just do it and they're amazing. Reach out to DoorGrow and talk to my team about our scale program in our mastermind and scale, our DoorGrow and Scale Mastermind. And you can check us out by joining our Facebook group, which is free, doorgrowclub.com. You can just go to doorgrowclub.com, or just check us out by going to our website, doorgrow.com, and schedule a call. There's a little link at the top, book a time with our team, and we will help you figure out how to solve your problems. So we look forward to talking to you. And until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.